Hi class, welcome to our next video lesson. This is the second day of working on section 2.2 and 2.4. The first four problems is we're going to talk about writing the equation of a line given its graph. So we have this graph and we want to put it into y equals mx plus b form for the equation of a line. So if we want it in y equals mx plus b form, we need two pieces of information. We need the slope, we need the y-intercept. So very first thing you should start off is just saying, do I know what the y-intercept is and do I know what the slope is? Well, it crosses right there, which is my y-intercept. It crosses right at where this horizontal and vertical line meet, right one of those crossing points at the grid. So you know that the y-intercept is 1, 2, 3. B equals 3. So now just find 2 points on the graph. I know that it crosses through this one, and I know that it crosses through this one. Once you know those 2 points, you can just count the rise over the run. We could use the slope formula, but it's just as easier rather to count rise over run. It rises 1, 2, 3. It runs to the right 1, 2. So my slope is a rise of 3/2. So my slope-intercept is 3. My y-intercept is 3. My slope is 3/2. Y equals mx plus b. 3/2 x plus 3 is the answer for the very first one. Let's look at the second one. On this one, we want it in y equals mx plus b form. However, we don't know exactly where this crosses the y-intercept at. It looks like it's 2.5, but we don't know for certain. It could be 2.6 or 2.7 or 2.4. If you don't know for certain, you can't just assume that it's always going to be a half or a third or whatever it looks closest to. So what we're going to have to do on this one is we're going to have to find 2 other points that our graph goes through and find the slope that way. I know that it goes through this point right here, and it goes through this one right there. So if I know that it goes through those 2 points, those points are 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3 up, so -3, +3. And this point is right 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 2. 4, 2. So let's find my slope here. My slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Here's x1, y1, x2, y2. So that's where I got all those numbers from. 2 minus 3 over 4 minus a -3. And so I get a slope of a -1/7. And I suppose if you wanted to, you could just count it out using your fingers. It goes down 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'd be another way of doing it. Our slope is a -1/7. So once I know that my slope is a -1/7, I still don't know my y-intercept, so I can't put in y equals mx plus b form. However, I do have the slope, I do have a point, or a point, it doesn't matter which one you use, but if I have a point and a slope, I can use point slope, which is y minus the y-coordinate equals m times the quantity x minus the x-coordinate. So I could just, for the sake of consistency, let's all use this one. Y minus 3 equals our slope, which is a -1/7, times the quantity x minus the x-coordinate, x minus a -3, so x plus 3. So now once I put this in a slope-intercept form, I have my answer. Y minus 3 equals a -1/7 x minus 3/7. Let's get y all by itself, so let's add this 3 over to here. So I get y equals a -1/7 x, a -3/7 plus 3 is 18/7. A -1/7 x plus 18/7. And there is my answer for problem number 2. Problem number 3. This one is a vertical line going up and down. So a vertical line is always an x equals line. So it's just x equals whatever the x-coordinate is. This point is 2, 0. Here's 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, -1, 2, -2, 2, -3. that number 2 is consistent with every single one of those points. This line is x equals 2. You don't need any type of y equals mx plus b, anything like that. It's just the line x equals 2. That's all we got there. Number 4, you guys try that one on your own. After you have tried it, hopefully you get this. Our b is at 3, and our slope is from here to here is down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So down 1 over 4, my slope is a negative 1/4. So knowing those two things, we got it made. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals a negative 1/4 x plus 3. So that's the first half of the lesson. The next half is where you are given the equation and we want to graph the line. So we know our equation is this, y equals 1/2 x plus 4, and now we want to put it onto a graph. So the first half and the second half of this lesson are complete opposites. At first we were given the graph, we want to find the equation. Now we have the equation, we want to write the graph. When it's in y equals mx plus b form, it's quite simple. Here is my y-intercept. So if that's my y-intercept, that's where it crosses the y-axis. So that's the first place I go. I know it crosses at 4. So from the origin, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and bam, I put a point right there. I know that my graph is going to cross right there. I know that my slope is positive, so I know that my graph is going to go up and to the right, and it's a positive 1/2. So my rise is 1. From my y-intercept, I go up 1, and I go to the right 2. And there, my friends, is the next point on our line. You only need 2 points to graph a line, so you would only need those 2, and then you can take out a straight edge and draw a line. I do like to continue my slope sometimes so I can get a more accurate line. So if I go rise of 1 over 2, that's the same thing as going left 2 down 1. So left 2 down 1, left 2 down 1, left 2 down 1. Now I can take out my straight edge and I can draw a pretty stinking straight line. And there we have it. So that's problem number 5. Problem number 6, really the rest of the problems are all very similar. If you wanted to, class, you could just put all of these into y equals mx plus b form. All you have to do is just manipulate the variables, get y all by itself, y equals mx plus b, graph the y-intercept, use the slope, and graph your line. But if you don't want to always manipulate the variables, a good strategy to use would be to use the form that they're in. This one is in point-slope form. So if I know this one is in point-slope form, it means I know one point on the line, and I know the slope. Just as a reminder, point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. So I know exactly where my slope is. My slope is right here. So my slope is 2, or 2 over 1, a rise of 2 and a run of 1. So now what point do I start at? My point is found x and y. Now remember, we don't have the negative signs with it. It is just this x right here and this y right here. So if we think about this as being x minus a minus 1, that's what x plus 1 is. Our points are a negative 1 and this positive 5. So my point is found at negative 1, positive 5. Another way you could look at it is the opposite of x plus 1, which is a minus 1, and it's the opposite of a y plus 5, which is, or y minus 5, the opposite of that is a plus 5. So there's my point, a negative 1, positive 5, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my slope is a rise of 2 and a run of 1. So from my point, I go up 2 and I go over 1. And once again, I could use my straight edge and draw a straight line right now. I am going to continue my points for the graph here that I'm given, just so I can get a more accurate line. So left 1 down 2, left 1 down 2, left 1 down 2. Hopefully this isn't too difficult. I'm sure you've done it before in the past. You should always get a straight line. Hopefully that makes sense. You should never get any curves in your line. And I should have used a straight edge. Hopefully you guys all have a straight edge, and you made that completely straight. So there is problem number 6. Problem number 7, this is in standard form. So another Again, another way you could do this is you could transfer this into y equals mx plus b form very easily. Just get y all by itself, manipulate the variables in such a way that you get into y equals mx plus b form. But in standard form, sometimes the best way to do it is just to graph the intercepts. If I say, what happens when my x value is 0? I could find my y value very easy. I'm just going to put 0 in for x. So 3 times 0 minus y equals 6. Well, 3 times 0 is just 0, so a negative y equals 6. Divide both sides by a negative 1, and voila! I have my y value as being a negative 6. So when my x value is 0, my y value is a negative 6. Easy enough. I could put that on my graph because I know it goes through that point. 0, negative 6. Whoopsie. 0, negative 6. So now let's find out what happens when my y value is 0. Well, when this right here is 0, 3x minus 0 equals 6. So 3x equals 6. That means if I divide by 3, x has to equal a positive 2. So now I know that another one of my points is 2, 0. So let's put that on our graph. Right 2 up and down 0. And now we have our line right there. We could use our straight edge. And there we have our line. Again, if you wanted to, you could just put into y equals mx plus b form, but if you wanted to do it a little bit quicker and more efficiently, you could just use the form that they're in. Why don't you guys try 8, 9, and 10 on your own, please. Pause the video, try those 3, and then check your work with mine. Here's number 8. This is y equals mx plus b form. Our b is just the number 0. So our y-intercept is 0. From there, it's a rise of a negative 3 and over 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Down 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there, which is the same thing as going left 4 up 3, left 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. That point right there. Let's take out our straight edge. And there we have our line. Okay, hopefully you got something like that. Problem number 9. This one is in standard form, so what I like to do is I like to use my intercepts. What happens when x is 0? Well, when x is 0, 3 times 0 is just 0, so a negative 4y equals a negative 12. That must mean when I divide both sides by a negative 4, y equals a positive 3. So at 0, 3 I have a point. And what happens when my y value is 0? Well, when my y value is 0, that means that this becomes a 0. So 3x equals a negative 12. That must mean my x has to equal a negative 4. So at negative 4, 0. And then I graph both of these points. At 0, 3, 1, 2, 3. And at negative 4, 0. Use my straight edge. And I connect my dots. So hopefully you also got something that looks like this. There's problem number 9. Last problem that I ask you to do on your own is problem number 10. If you wanted to, you could put this into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and graph it from there. If you found that this is in point-slope form, and you want to use the slope of a negative 2/3 and the point of a negative 2, negative 3, that's how I think would be the most efficient way. Our point is at a negative 2 from this one, and a negative 3 from that one. So go left 2, down 3. From that point, use your slope as going a negative 2/3. So down negative 2 over 1, 2, 3, which is the same as left 3 up 2, left 1, 2, 3 up 2, and there we have our line. So once again, hopefully you got those 3 correct. If you wanted to, you could put them into y equals mx plus b form, and you're going to get the exact same answers. Or if you want to use the form that they're already in, we should get these exact same graphs. So let me know if you have any questions on that tomorrow. On problem number 11, we're all going to go through this one in class tomorrow, so make sure that you come prepared, ready to use the first several minutes of class to do this problem. If you want to, you could try it at home right now and see if you can come up with the right answer. It is a challenging one, so I invite you to try it if you'd like to. Please let me know if you have any questions tomorrow in class.